Welcome back again. This is the podcast On the Other Side with Talia Dindy, and I'm to give you 3 people that you need to listen to. And boy, do you ever. You remember I talked about before that when you get the news that you have cancer, that things feel unreal. Well, this next person I'm going to tell you about and what she says will help you make real that which seems unreal. Her name is Jefri Franks. Her episodes are the 14th and the 21st of December 2022. And hers is a mother's story of grief. This is going to be a hard one for you to listen to. It's very sad in spots. But Lord, what she has to say, you need to hear. All of it that you can hear. Because she will eventually transport you to the other side. But you can imagine a mother's story of grief. She's talking about the possibility of the death of her child. She will walk you through the entire process that you will have to go through should you have a child who may die from cancer. Now, what was the worst part for her? I think, in the way that she describes it, was when her child seemed to be asking for permission to die. And she had to learn to listen. You want to be informed, encouraged, and inspired by what Jefri has to say. Now the next one is December the 7th, 2022. You'll be listening to a man named Matthew Brownstein, and he'll be talking about hypnotherapy for healing. Most people, I think, just don't understand hypnotherapy. It's part of holistic medicine, and we tend to dismiss what we don't understand. But I want you to listen to everything he has to say and learn all that you can. I mean, the best way to learn about hypnotherapy is to hire one and have him tell you in 30 minutes to an hour all of the things that hypnotherapy can do to you, for you. I sat at lunch one day and listened to one talk, and I was just absolutely amazed at what they can do. Most of the things they do, we used to do through psychoanalytic therapy, which I've done before. But these guys can do it faster. We tend to fear that which we don't understand. Well, let me tell you, I went through high school, 3 colleges, and 2 graduate programs, and I had pretty high grade point average. And I owe it to self-hypnosis. I got tons of notes in classes. I had to go through those notes and ferret out that which I thought was the most important, and then I recorded that on a tape recorder. This was the old type that had the big reel. And then beginning 3 days before an exam, I would tell myself before I went to sleep, I would self-hypnotize myself and say that I would learn all of the information on the tape while I slept, and then I'd go to sleep. And invariably, during an exam, there'd be something I didn't know or something I didn't understand. I'd kind of go into a trance Nobody would notice, but I kind of went into a little self-hypnosis, and lo and behold, out would come the answers, and I would make good on my exams. So don't be afraid of it. It's something that you certainly can use and have a professional hypnotist use for you. How does hypnotherapy help with cancer? Hypnotherapy has to do with the mind-body language. And let me give you a simple example of mind-body. You eat too much pizza. Your stomach says to your mind, my stomach is upset because I ate too much pizza. The mind then communicates with the body and says, take an Alka-Seltzer. Now that's a simple example, but that's what we're talking about. How does cancer, how can it be helped by hypnotherapy? Well, it relaxes you to reduce your stress. And much of what hypnotherapy does is to reduce stress, because stress causes all kinds of problems for cancer as well as other diseases. So let's say you start with an easy one. I talked about non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and the doctor waiting for the white blood count to get to a certain level before he would treat, and it took 7 years. Well, a hypnotist can actually cause you to relax, to cause the white blood count to stay lower. Now, this is not hocus pocus. This has been proved over and over and over, and a tremendous amount of research has been done on this. This is not something you want to play around with. Something else that causes tremendous stress that we have little control over are our memories. Our fear stirs up memories that are stored in the unconscious mind, and you have no way of getting into the unconscious mind to relax yourself. This is what psychoanalytic therapy did for years. I've used psychoanalytic. I remember a lady came to me with problems of shame, and I was able to use psychoanalytic therapy to walk her back to age 12. It took several sessions, but at 12, she realized what caused the shame, and then her shame dissipated, went away. A hypnotherapist can do that a whole lot faster, so he costs less. And I think hypnotherapy is one of the reasons that we see less psychoanalytic therapy going on today. The other reason is it was part of the old crowd, and when they died or passed and retired from counseling, they stopped using the psychoanalytic method. The third person I want to talk about is a real fascination, a woman that you really want to listen to. Hers is on November the 23rd, 2022. And her name is Tracey Stills, and she talks about how to be your own best advocate when you have cancer. Now, her story was, and let me begin by giving you a motto. Be Tracey Stills. Be Tracey Stills. Here was a woman who found a lump on her breast. She was terrified that it might be cancer. She found out that her health insurance would not pay for a mammogram. She went to her doctor's office, and the nurses just paid little attention to her. They would not examine her breast, nor would they give her an appointment to see her own doctor. what in the world was this woman supposed to do? She had nobody to advocate for herself. Well, the more angry she got about it, the more she screwed up her courage, and then she went down to the doctor's office without an appointment, ready to storm the office to get what she wanted, and I think God was taking care of her. As she went in, her doctor came out from the back room, saw her, asked her what she was doing there, and invited her back into his office to talk. That was the beginning of help for her. Now, maybe you don't have the courage that Tracey Stills has. Maybe you just can't conjure it up. That's okay. Just come back to this episode and listen to the woman talk. Hear what she has to say. She'll help you. She'll inspire you. She'll give you encouragement that can bring about the courage that you need. If you have friends who are having the same problem where they're being shut out of the doctor's office for one reason or another, tell them to listen to this episode. November the 23rd, 2022, On the Other Side podcast with Talia Dindy. Listen to her talk and be inspired to get the courage to go to the doctor's office and get what they want. This is the importance of listening to the person's voice, not just reading information. You don't want to just read about Tracey Stills. You want to listen to what she has to say, and she will give you the fire in the belly to do what you need to do to advocate for yourself. Now, these are the 6 people, this tape and the one before, I promised you. I want to talk a little bit about Talia Dindy, the host of the show, On the Other Side. She doesn't get paid for the work that she does. And she works very hard to put out 2 or 3 of these episodes every week. She loves her work. She loves helping people. And since you can't pay her, one thing that you can do for her is to give her a 5-star review on Google or any other, Yelp or whoever will let you. Give her 5-star reviews. This will help her ratings, help her have more people to listen to her podcast, and give her more people that she can help, because we're in the helping business, and that's what we like doing. We don't make a lot of money, and we don't get a lot of praise or a lot of thanks, but we love helping people. At least you can give her a 5-star rating. Now, this is the last video of her podcast that I'll be giving at this time. I'll probably do some later. But meanwhile, I want you to go to her podcast and listen to these episodes one after the other. And as the days go by, listen to the new ones. Learn all that you can learn. Be as inspired as you can so that you can get to the other side of cancer and be a thriver and be able to help other people.